Education, the foundation of our society, and a place where all students should learn in a comfortable environment. Americans have placed education in high regard for decades.
Education.
Education.
Education. Education.
Education.
Education.
You've got to show up to school on time. You've got to pay attention in your class. You've got to do your homework. You've got to study for exams. You've got to stay out of trouble.
In 2025, the federal government more focused on reducing federal spending and defunding inclusion programs more than ever, seen through attempts to dismantle the Department of Education and turn America.
Woke no longer.
Many Americans are being left questioning if school is the right place for them.
Our Declaration of Independence states all men are created equal, which means equity in schools must be of the highest importance at every school. Equity, meaning all students, regardless of their ethnic backgrounds, have access to the resources, support, and opportunities they need to succeed. This means providing individualized support to meet specific needs, addressing achievement gaps, and creating a level playing field for all students.
Inequities arise when certain groups of people face systemic disadvantages that limit their access to opportunities and resources, hindering their ability to thrive. These problems in Marin County mostly regard racial disparities and are driven by a combination of factors, including a severe lack of housing, historically discriminatory practices, and systemic barriers faced by residents of color. These issues lead to racial segregation, income inequality, and disparities in access to essential resources like education and healthcare.
In fact, Marin County is leaps and bounds more segregated than anywhere else in the Bay Area.
Ross, Belvedere, Sausalito, San Anselmo, Fairfax, and Mill Valley are leaders in the Bay Area for lack of diversity.
Our county is 5 times as segregated as Sonoma County and twice as segregated as San Francisco, which all leads back to inequalities and how not all students are receiving the opportunities needed to succeed.
In order to uncover more about educational equity, we chose to visit the most diverse elementary and middle school in Marin County, Dr. Martin Luther King Academy in Sausalito. 73% of MLK students are from minority groups, with 27% of students being African American, 26% Hispanic, 10% Asian, and nearly 10% multiracial. Martin Luther King is part of the Sausalito Marin City School District, which now only includes Martin Luther King. However, this has not always been the case. Just 5 years ago, the Sausalito Marin City School District operated 2 schools, Bayside Elementary and Willow Creek Academy. Willow Creek's student body was made of predominantly white students, whereas Bayside's student body was made up of predominantly Black and Hispanic students.
However, this all changed in 2019.
The district was segregating its students by race. And after a thorough investigation, sure enough, that's what we found.
The district chose to combine the 2 schools under one name in 2021, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Academy, and pooled their resources together. This meant that Willow Creek, now Nevada campus, would teach grades K through 5, and Bayside Phillips campus would house the middle school.
At the beginning of the 2024-2025 school year, the middle school was moved to the Nevada campus, combining MLK Academy into one campus. This relates to our chosen nonprofit, Bridge the Gap. They're a small organization that has big aspirations. They believe education is the greatest equalizer in closing opportunity and achievement gaps. They work to further the education of kids who have families that are struggling financially and run extended learning programs that can help give young students the opportunities they need to succeed academically. They look to mentor students and instill a love for learning.
In order to see the real-life impact of equity in schools and the impact of Bridge the Gap, we visited the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Academy in Marin City. We gathered some information from Bridge the Gap staff on what they think people struggle with in their school and in their communities.
Like when it comes to ethnicity, it's a big difference, and one of the things that we try to work on a lot is getting the kids prepared for going out of this area where they're used to seeing other kids like them versus the rest of Marin for when they go to high school, and there'll be the minorities around there and not too many other kids like them. So I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges. Another challenge is just, trying to provide the resources that these kids need, because a lot of them they've been through a lot, and it's hard to accommodate for the things that they need. So, yeah.
I mean, is it alright if I ask, without going too much in detail, like what have they like dealt with in their lives?
I mean, these kids have dealt with like trauma in their homes with their parents. They've seen things in their community that, kids shouldn't see, like gunshots or people using drugs. It's just a daily thing that they see.
We also asked Bridge the Gap why 53% of students at MLK are chronically absent.
I would say that's kind of a systemic issue going on. It's been a problem for a while now, and we do address it in a lot of like board meetings or like council meetings. It's something that we're trying to work towards. Just maybe giving more incentives for students to come to school and actually show up. We actually last year did a contest for attendance. I believe it was for summer. We tried it out, and if students showed up to every single day of summer program, then they received like a gift card. So that's one of the ways that we're trying to work on this issue and get things into a habit, like showing up.
Why some students struggle with their test scores.
So part of what we do at Bridge the Gap, we have this extended day program, but we also have an intervention program that happens during the school day. So kids get pulled out to go into like a reading intervention, a math intervention in elementary. And then in middle school, we have a teacher that pushes into the classroom to support in reading. So I think those are the areas that probably really support that academic growth more than we necessarily do. I think we really support like trying to provide a safe place for kids to be after school and to feel connected to the school day.
Yeah.
And we hear from parents often they prefer coming to after school than they do to school day.
And Bridge the Gap's plans for the future.
As far as I know that Bridge the Gap is always working on just having people be more aware that we exist and we're a program that wants to grow and help people and help children in our community. So as I think our volunteer program is always like changing. We're working to make it a bigger program. I think we've had a lot of new volunteers over the years who go and tell their friends that like this is a great program to work with.
Overall, this brought to light many issues that could be founding causes of educational inequities in Marin County. Even when we went there and volunteered, we could see some of the problems that cause these inequities, like the school being a little old and lacking some funding, how small it was, and how diverse the school was and how that could lead to some discrimination.
Racism can unfortunately be found at every school. A student walking into a class to face constant racism is extremely demotivating and may completely stop students from attending school. We believe the solution to create equitable schools in Marin is to find funding and to help find volunteers to create after-school clubs and to create programs to support elementary and middle school students in underserved areas.
These clubs will serve as an outlet to relieve stress and get to know others in their community better. Students could then connect with other kids from different backgrounds, breaking down unjust stereotypes that could demotivate students from attending class. We would like to empower local students to form after-school clubs that focus on careers and life skills. These clubs can serve as a place for students to delve deeper into their interests and begin to think of future plans. Effective after-school programs will show otherwise unmotivated students a clear path to success in their future and hopefully inspire them to continue to further their education.
Solution 2, affordability. Affordability plays a huge part in education, and property values in our area are directly tied to school funding. One way to go about solving this would allow more apartments to be built around Marin, as 90% of buildings in Marin County are single-family homes. This would allow for more affordable housing and a more inclusive community, which is reflected back into our schools. Also, families that are struggling financially might have students pulled out of school, as stated by a Bridge the Gap member in this clip.
If they have younger siblings and their parents are like working multiple jobs, there might be some more pressure for them to like stay home and take care of little kids. If they're sick, their younger siblings. There could also be issues of there's a lot of social issues like poverty, lower socioeconomic status of parents, and that could put some kids like again just more at pressure to there's not as much pressure for them to go to school and get all their homework done, and there might not be people at home to help them with their homework, right? So they could fall behind test level, grading level, stuff like that.
This is part of the underlying causes of educational disparities in Marin County, which makes Marin overall more affordable and can boost many areas of our citizens' lives.
All in all, our time volunteering helped us understand the direct impacts of inequity and how it impacts all students across Marin. We helped put one of our solutions in place, along with Bridge the Gap, by leading clubs after school. Affordability can be solved by making it known. A huge percent of Marin is single-family homes, so bringing attention to those who need more affordable housing can be critical. If you want to learn more about this problem, here are our sources. You can also volunteer to Bridge the Gap on their website. We hope you decide to help make Marin more equitable, and thank you for listening.